In our continuing coverage of the Red River BLM land grab, basically, if you will, we're meeting today with the man that sounded the alarm to the state of Texas that this was underway, Senator Craig Estes from Wichita Falls, Texas. Welcome to Breitbart, Texas.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate you coming up to Wichita Falls and the North Texas area.
We're very interested in this topic, and it was your letter to General Abbott and Governor Perry and Texas Land Commissioner Jerry Patterson that kind of sounded the alarm about this. How did you find out about this, and what made you become suspicious about what they were up to?
Well, you're making me sound like a regular Paul Revere. I'm not sure who first sounded the alarm, but we were contacted by constituents with concerns over this, and so we did spread the word about it, and it seems to have gathered everybody's attention and gotten quite a bit of news coverage. First of all, I think it's outrageous that the federal government, through the BLM, is going to essentially try to deprive private landowners of their right to their land. Now, I thought General Abbott's letter, and I hear others have written letters, was very well reasoned, and the summary, in my opinion, of his letter was, explain to us your rationale behind this. We have yet to hear from them as to why they think they even have a claim to this land. The Red River, of course, is a boundary line between the two states, and it shifts and changes all the time. So we have been dealing with this problem a long time, and I think that the BLM now is just trying to compound the problem. So today we're meeting with a group of people. The Lieutenant Governor's coming up here, and the Land Commissioner, and several members of the Texas House. And we're on a fact-finding tour, and we want to get to the bottom of it and see what the real problem is. So everybody's attention is on it, and I would say in all things public policy that sunshine is the best disinfectant, and we're going to put a lot of sunshine on this issue and see where it leads.
Now, you're affected in this issue in two different ways. As first off, your constituents along the Red River here are directly affected by it, but also as chairman of the Senate Committee on Agriculture, Rural Affairs, and Homeland Security, this falls directly under your purview, as you will, from the state's position.
Absolutely.
What are you hearing from the ranchers up here and other people that might be directly affected by it?
Well, I think our first and best issue in calling in this area is to make sure that the Red River's secure for no Okies coming over. Absolutely kidding. We love our Oklahoma neighbors. The big issues, if you boil it all down, is private property rights. And this is something that I've worked hard on my entire Senate career. I was able, with the help of a whole lot of other people, to get some eminent domain reform. And we have to realize that the bedrock of our country and of our state rests on private property and the ability to enjoy that private property and be secure with that private property. It's really the bedrock principle of our liberty.
Now, Governor Perry and Senator Cruz have both said that the discussion we really should be having is how do we divest the federal government of a lot of the land holdings. They don't own very much land in Texas, but across the western part of the United States they have vast holdings, as much as 70% in the state of Nevada. It's how do we get them to move out of that position?
I think they are absolutely right, Senator Cruz and Governor Perry. That is the larger issue, but I'll leave that for another day. I think that is the ultimate goal of our talks with the BLM, is to say, if you do have some claim to this land just here along the Red River, what possible use could the citizens of the United States need with just a very thin strip of land along a real wide flooding river? The question of other public lands in the western states is for another day for me. So we're going to work on this, and I think the best outcome, as soon as we get all the information and all the facts, is to say, okay, BLM, let's divest yourselves of these rights if you have any, because they really serve no useful purpose.
One of the other articles that came out this weekend revealed that not only is it ranchers being affected, but the Northwest Council on Boy Scouts owns about 400 acres up there, up in that region, of which about a third of it, 170 acres, would be subject to this interpretation of the BLM and could impact them directly. Have you been up to that camp?
I have been to Camp Perkins many times. It's a wonderful facility. In fact, community leaders are organizing to remodel the camp and raise some money. I've been a part of that. I was just made aware that the land there with Camp Perkins is in question. And so that makes it doubly important. Landowners are one thing, but for goodness sakes, the Boy Scouts, we're going to take their land away from them. It's just un-American.
That it really is. I couldn't have said that better myself. You know, when I talked with the BLM last week, they admitted a couple of things that I thought were interesting. One, they admitted that they've neglected to exercise any management and control over the land if it is theirs for basically 211 years. Ever since the Louisiana Purchase, they've never done anything with it. They also admitted that the land is totally landlocked. In other words, you can't get to it without crossing somebody's private property for the most part. And they said that they would not be looking for any kind of condemnation for right-of-way access or anything like that. Given that, do you think that it sounds like they might be of a mindset to be cooperative with the state of Texas on this?
You know, that is news to me, and I appreciate you letting me know that. I think that that is those are points in our favor for saying if you ever did have any claim to this land, by not exercising it and not doing anything with it, you may have forfeited that right. And I'm not a lawyer, so people have a tendency sometimes to think they're lawyers. But I was talking to a lawyer last night, and I guess it's called adverse possession. But we'll see where that goes. What I know is that the folks that I serve in the Texas Senate are upset, and I always put myself in their shoes test. If they were the senator and I had land along the river, I think I would be in their shoes. I would be just as upset as they are. So it's not time for us to go crazy and have a bunch of protests, but it's time for us to go, look, federal government, we're kind of sick of getting kicked around. Tell us what your claims are. Give us a reasonable explanation, and if we disagree with you, we're going to fight you in court. Now, General Abbott is no stranger to taking the federal government to the courtroom, and it's sad he's had to do that. But a lot of people, myself included, have kind of had it up to here with the federal government throwing its weight around. If they have a legitimate claim, explain it to us. If they don't, leave Texas alone.
Well, Senator, I appreciate your time this morning and access to talk to you about this issue. You and Senator Nichols bringing this to the attention of the state government, I think, has established our beachhead here, if you will, and we look forward to a successful outcome for these ranchers and for the Boy Scouts, and actually for the state of Texas, which I believe also owns some land along this region. So,
Well, appreciate you coming up here, and look forward to your report.
Thank you.